Okay, greetings. My name is Amira Sankofa Quality, and I'm with As Life Coaching Ministries. And of course, today, again, y'all know I rarely do celebrity readings or celebrity information on terms of zodiac. So this is going to be kind of dealing with a slight reading mixed with a slight zodiac understanding. So, again, as I showed you before, this is going to be about T.I. and Tiny. So we're going to re-examine, as I put in here, the Libra and the Cancer. T.I. being the Libra, Tiny being the Cancer. And of course, I'm Amira Sankofa Kwali, and I'm your revolutionary master healer. And so, of course, because of these different moons and different signs and different elements, now, certainly keep in mind that not always are not, because of when you wanted to get more into depth when we're talking about zodiacs, you do have to consider the possibility that different people have different moons, they have different elements, different things within their chart that not only talk with them on the terms of course, the first exact zodiac sign that they were born under, but keeping in mind the time that they were born, the place they was born, all that has in their name, all that has a bearing on where they are within that particular zodiac. However, because of time constraints, and I'm not getting paid for it, and if somebody want to do it, they can pay me, and I'll be happy to do it. But because of that reality, I'm gonna do it based off the original sign that they were signed under, which is Tiny being the Cancer and T.I. being the Libra. So let's talk about that. And then after that, I'll do a short breakdown of a little slight sample reading. Okay. Now, let's deal first with the Cancer, because, of course, the Cancer being the fourth zodiac symbol. So we know that, of course, the Cancer is the crab, and we understand that being a water sign. And understanding that being a water sign, they're very emotional creatures, and they're very intuitive. So they can feel certain things before they can happen in a lot of cases. A lot of Cancers make good readers when they're tuned in, and when they're also busy not making excuses for other people, because they do make a lot of excuses for a lot of people for people being the way that they are. So in a lot of cases, so if a person has, let's say you with someone and they have addiction, or they have issues with, let's say, keeping and being faithful, or anything dealing with that. Let's say they have addiction towards drugs, they have addiction towards alcohol, then that Cancer is a person that will certainly keep that addiction up. They will constantly make excuses for that person until it gets to the point where they can't handle it anymore. And then they will begin to open up their eyes and see it for what it is. But when it first began to happen, they would deal with it for quite some time. It would be an ongoing thing until something drastic happens. And then the Cancer is like, oh, beep, it happens. So, but let me tell you something. Once a Cancer opens their eyes, it's just no turning back, and they will hoard that anger toward you forever. So a couple of things here. Now, in dealing with that emotional being and dealing with that intuitive person, they also very protective of their family. They're very protective over other people's feelings that are friends, neighbors. They don't like to hurt people's feelings. Now, although sometimes they can be bold and direct and say some of the wildest stuff, but at the same time, they are very compassionate people. And they're very domestic. They're highly into taking care of their family. They make the best mothers. No matter what type of career they have going on, they're going to make sure that their children are being taken care of. They're the type, they'll call you, hey, how you doing? And they're very worry warts, and they'll call their children at all hours of the night. I was thinking about you. Are you okay? So they're very good mothers. They're very good soulmates. They're very good women and men. So they will call you to check on you to make sure you're okay, which is why that Libra, it makes sense for that Libra to fall in love with that particular Cancer because they're mother figures and they will give you that need. And anytime, and it appears that because T.I. has a lot of women in his camp, his mother, his sister, and people like that. So he's very, he likes nurturing. He likes being nurtured. You could tell. And because of that, that mother figure in Tiny brought, him closer together. So without a doubt, no matter what happens in the street, he's going to always come home to that Cancer until, guess what? That Cancer hurts his feelings. So in a lot of cases, we have to understand the part of the body of the Cancer that's most affected usually is the stomach and the breast. So with Cancers, there needs to be a lot of work involving in tapping into the stomach and the breast, which is probably, well, that's another story. So probably in dealing with why she got like plastic surgery. And no judgment, I'm just saying. And of course the Libra, let's touch on that a little bit. The Libra being the scale, consider the scale. You see the scale of the Libra. I would draw it out, but not right now with that. So they're air sign. And a lot of times with air signs kind of can go this way, it can go that way, it can go that way, it can go this way. So air signs aren't very stable people in a lot of regard unless there is a sheer either good conversation or they have someone around them that keeps them stable, or they are able to stabilize themselves because they have other zodiacs in their chart, such as, for example, a Virgo. Because Virgos are very stable people, or they have a Taurus within their chart, like the sun or something like that. So that will help to ground them a lot better. However, now with Libras, they have a unique way. And don't get me wrong, a Libra is going to always find themselves into a relationship. They love relationships. However, they will fall out from that relationship at different points in time throughout their life. And that's just the way it is. Because of, like I said, the air, back and forth, around, around, around. But they do appreciate the thought of marriage. They do appreciate the thought of unions. Now, a union is very simple for them. Getting into a relationship is not that big of an issue. The thing is, and the deeper issue would more so be with them getting, marriage, like on paper, committed, that they know that it takes a longer time to get out of something. So you have to, in order to get with the Libra, you have to be very patient in that sense because their ideal of marriage is unique. Now, that's not saying that a Libra won't marry you. They will. It just takes time. But I guess in most cases, a lot of people take time. But don't necessarily think about that. And sometimes keeping in mind that even with some Libras, like I said, they have that nurturing other aspects within their chart because they might have, they're Virgo, they might have that Taurus, they might, you know what I mean? So they might have different zodiacs within their chart. But in conjunction with that, they do great with partnerships. They like working with people. The thing about the Libra, they don't really like being alone. So that has its strengths in some ways, and in some other ways it has its possibilities negatives, because of the fact that if you leave the Libra alone for too long, then they will play with their own mind and they will wander. So that is possibly an issue, obviously, right? They're very diplomatic. They really try to look into things on a lot of levels. They don't just go straight for this is what it is. They always try to examine things on a deeper level, and they have loyalty within them to a degree, but it's a unique type of loyalty. Okay, now I already told you about them being they're very compassionate. So it's no wonder that in a lot of cases you would see him online, and if he sees something that his woman is doing, he will out her online, which is not always the best thing to do, especially as a celebrity and as a human being. And so, whereas before, it would be respectfully done. But after a while, that cancer would get angry at that stuff after a while because they don't like to be put on Front Street. Because again, they're water signs, they're heavily into their emotions, they're heavily into their feelings, and after a while, they will try to hurt you. They will get revenge back on you. So they are vengeful people. I'm sorry, y'all cancers, y'all are vengeful people. But y'all revenge is different than most people's revenge. It's like a subtle in different ways. Like, oops, did I do that? Right. So another, they have certain types of balance, and one of the parts of their body that's more affected would be their kidneys. So that is definitely something that most people don't really talk about. So we have to, so not we, but they would have to understand the thing about those particular zodiac signs. Now, I am not a person, a healer that would tell someone that with these particular zodiac signs, that's not going to work. A relationship is not going to work. I don't believe that because I believe that relationships are a lot of work. And certainly with some signs, they would have to sometimes adjust to things and understand what they're dealing with working with each other's signs. So, for example, in this particular case, because you have this Cancer female and a Libra male, that, of course, relationship wise, that has a lot of great possibilities because the Cancer is very sensual and she's very attentive to her man. And she's the type of person that hands down, whatever goes on, she will stand by him. Even if he has an addiction and she has to step away, maybe leave him, she will certainly help him to get help and encourage him to do so. So no matter what, she will always be there for him, even in the friendship, whatever the case is. So that's a great thing about that Cancer, and that's what that Libra needs, because the Libra is flighty, and 1 minute they going with this way in this direction, next minute they going left or right, whatever. So that is seriously a scary thing for a Cancer at times. And they are an interesting pair. Now you got the air and you got water, so their issues and opinions will be approached differently because he lives in the public and he'll say stuff in the public as opposed to handling that at home because of the embarrassment of the situation. So, and what's great about it is what's great about him is that, of course, she's able to see his softer side and pull his softer side out of him. And so that's a good thing because of most men are manly men and they don't like to express themselves. And he will express the hell out of himself online and he don't care in front of anybody. So he's just as emotional, but his emotions are a bit differently, obviously, because he's a man. So now with that, the what's great about that also is that they admire intelligence. So Libras admire intelligent people. They love critical thinkers because they have that in common. They're critical thinkers as well. But on top of them being critical thinkers, they are reactionary too. I have to be honest. Now, the beautiful thing about that, the Cancer will always charm that Libra, no matter what type of problems that they have and they're going through their thing. They are charmers. They will charm the pants off of you. And so, the thing about that is when it's bad, it's really, really bad. And there's going to be a constant struggle. There's always going to be some type of struggle with them because, like, you got air and water. And so it's basically a fight at times because sometimes the Libra may be doing too much at times. And then sometimes the Cancer, because they're so and they have sneaky ways. Cancers are sneaky too, though. And sometimes with cancers, they will get into this mode where they feel like they're tired of you and they'll do certain things to spark your attention, to push your buttons, and which automatically that Libra is going to react. And boy, will he react, as you see on social media. Now, good bedroom partners, good sexapades, and great sex, that certainly happens with them. Now, the Libra can sometimes get boring at times on certain levels, but day to day they're not bad people. So, but not always boring. They they can be homebodies at times, but you will find when the Libra is ready to give you adventure, they will give you adventure, and you will be very excited because they love doing things. They are family people too. They clearly are family people too. They love their family, they love their children, they love their siblings. They will go out of way to make sure people don't, starve. So that's a good thing for them. They would definitely maintain but they will drive you crazy. And they do believe in, both signs do love comfortable living. So that's the zodiac brief. It's way more, but of course, I'm going to only do so much because I'm not getting paid for it. Okay, so now let's draw myself. Let's draw ourselves to these handy dandy cards. So I'm going to do like a quick relationship reading. Hold on. And I'm utilizing the cards. Do I have to use them? No, I'm talented. But I'm going to use them today. Okay. I really should have shuffled them from the last time that I used them. I got a really good vibe off of the person that I did prior. So I kind of left in that vibe. I like that vibe. That was a good vibe. And when I said that person, I'm talking about me. I love my vibe. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to shuffle them one more time and do what I do because I do what I do. Here I go one more time. One more time. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm not going to do a real big reading here because I'm not getting paid. But I will say that there's going to be happy times and that they really need to start working once they get past this little hump, that they really need to start working on long-term plans because long-term plans are absolutely necessary. What are they going to do in the future? What is the goals for the family? How many things can they accomplish now at this stage? Because they're going to go through different stage. I would say every 6 months to 1 year, they're going through a new phase in their relationship. Certain things are going to always be exposed. So, in order to keep that tight in order to re-examine things, they have to really get tapped into where they want to go, and they need to focus on the bigger pictures, and honesty has to take place. It's a lot of things that aren't really told the truth on. Even if you do not volunteer something and you do not tell that person, that's a lie. Okay, so truthfulness is you telling everything out. Now, you can reserve the right to say, okay, I might have forgot about that. You might legitimately forgot about that, but you better make sure that you express that thought about you kind of forgetting about it, because it's not healthy to not be honest. And so the next scenario that I pretty much see, I see I definitely see that there's some right pathways that will be coming, but in order for this hump to be worked out, they have to work past some work on some honesty. Because there's some lies right now, and they really need to keep people out their business, hence staying off of social media, because being on social media does not help. And then people have to learn how to cover up their tracks. And there are going to be a lot of rumors that's always going to go on about them because of who they are, because they are celebrities. But at the same time, they shouldn't allow themselves to feed into the rumors, because nowadays people can pretty much make anything up, even on film. They can put what they want to on film. So we have to be mindful of that. Um, so there's a time now that people need to believe in their dreams and start. It's not just about this particular person's dreams, but we all have dreams, and individuals in marriage have a dream. So you can't just live out one person's dream and not do another person's dream, because it's selfish. So everybody has a life outside of you. Um, so some things that have to be touched on is Tiny has to have a life outside of him. And when that happens, and when she begins to start living the life outside of him, it becomes hard for him, because he's used to her being the homebody and nurturing and things like that. So that really has to be discussed. And counseling is really good at this point. That probably need to. And I am a life coach, and I am certified to do so. Hint, hint, wink. Um, and so faith definitely needs to take place. There need to be more spiritual groundings. There need to be more people who have more faith in things, because sometimes when you lose faith in situations, you're bound to lose things. And too many people in too many ears. Long-term plans need to take place, but there definitely need to be expectations. Now, certain expectations, someone's not getting their expectations met, and because that is happening, people start to go outside. And there has to be a discussion about what your expectations are. And then y'all need to revisit where you are in your relationship, because everybody goes through phases. And like I said, every 6 months to a year is usually when you all have these changes. So you have to address them, and not address them in social media, and start really addressing them on a personal level. And if you're asking or you're needing something, then just ask for it. And you all try to work to build that. Now, so I do see a new person that has entered their life. So we know the baby that I think she had a baby, right? So that definitely will heighten certain abilities, and enter the relationship into new phases. When you start adding more to the family, whether it's children biologically or children outside, or like a family member, long lost family member, or reconnecting to someone that you might have known back in the day, like a friend or something like that. So you have to readjust some things and not allow yourself to get so caught up on that, and still understand that you still first priority, but you at the same time everybody has to show each other that they're first priority and still getting meeting those needs. So there's definitely a friendly side to things. So we have to start becoming a little bit more selfless and not selfish. Um so the next thing that I also felt was not crying over things that you cannot change. There's too much, crying right now. There's too many things that things are just not turning out the way that people are wanting them to turn out. They're going into a different direction. And you have to see the positive in a situation and not always searching for the negative. Just because it didn't happen the way that you wanted it to happen doesn't mean that there isn't a positive in the situation. So you have to understand what the positive is. So if it takes you writing it down and saying this is positive, this is positive, this is positive, and you will find out there will be more positives than it is negatives. Okay. And pride and ego is clearly some issues there. Okay, so there's going to be a celebration that's going to be coming up soon for them. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's someone getting married or a wedding, or if it's an anniversary, or if it's a birth announcement, or something that's definitely going to get them to have more fun. But definitely plan a party, whatever it is. I don't know if it's an anniversary of some sort or someone's birthday coming up, but definitely plan to do like a getaway, do something really fun and exciting. And there's a lot of missed opportunities that's going on now. So stop missing opportunities and really get established in the things that you're asking for, and tweak things that you feel like you're not able to get. Tweak them to your best ability and don't allow them to just fall to waste because they're not the way that you had hoped them to be. But if you can kind of tweak it, maybe it'll be the best that it can be. And sometimes we have to accept that someone's giving you the best that they can possibly give you. Okay? Sometimes we have to just stop being so spoiled. Okay? Because somebody's spoiled. A couple people. Wink, wink. Okay? So people are getting bored too. So you have to examine why people are getting bored. Why are they bored? Why are they upset? Why are they or feeling like they lacking something? So there's definitely some eyes that need to be open, and they need to open them to advancement, treatment, possibility, and strong points, and living in the moment. Sometimes we have to live in the moment. Sometimes we have to allow bygones to be bygones and to accept people for what they are, not allow ourselves to feed into certain negative points and not get into our emotions and our feelings, because sometimes when you get into your emotions and your feelings, you are not helping the situation. You're making the situation a lot worse. So maybe you don't need to do that. So I'm kind of done. So thank you again. To get my services, I am www.ask314life.com. My telephone number is 502-208-9142. Thank you.